Hello, I'm Teacher Robin. Welcome to another live streaming class. If this is your first time to watch a class, let me explain how it works. Today, we're going to talk about how to learn English faster. If you have a question during the class, you can write your question in the comments and I'll answer it at the end of the class. And I also have a few questions for you at the end of my lesson to practice what we've talked about today, and you can write your answers in the comments as well. Okay, so our topic for today, is how to learn English faster. So many of you ask, how can I improve my skills? I feel like I'm advancing really slowly. What are some things I can do to learn English, to improve my English as quickly as possible? So I'm going to give you some tips today on how to do that, to make the most of your study time. So one thing that is really important for you to have if you're studying a language is good organizational skills. So you need to establish a routine, a study routine. Okay, so that means study every day or at least 4 times a week to be consistent. Okay, so establish a regular routine. Keep your study time short. You don't need to study for hours at a time, 1 hour maximum, because after 1 hour your brain starts to become tired and you don't retain the information as much. So keep it short. This is a great way to start your study habit, and don't get distracted. So choose a study space that is free of distractions, noise. Maybe it could be in your office, your living room, wherever is relaxing for you, in the library, etc. But choose that place. Try to study in that same place if you can, so that becomes part of your routine. Okay, some self-study tips. So what can you do to be more efficient with when you're studying? Use a notebook. So keep a notebook with all of your notes. You have it all together. Keep a word list. So any vocabulary or expressions that you learn and want to remember or look up the definition to later, keep those all in your notebook. Okay, so look up any new words that you don't understand. Maybe if you watch TV, in English, or you listen to the radio, you might jot down a few things that that weren't familiar to you before. So look up the definition to those later. Okay, keep a list of phrasal verbs. Those are really important in English. So keep accumulating those phrasal verbs in your notebook and try to practice them, to use them whenever you have a conversation, and review your vocabulary on a daily basis. So maybe when you sit down to study, the first thing that you can do is review the vocabulary that you learned the last time. So this is a good way to kind of refresh your memory before you start studying something new. Okay, let's talk about listening. How can you improve your listening skills? The best thing to do is to listen to English as often as you can. So you can do this by watching TV, listening to the radio. So if you're watching a TV show and it's a bit long, or if you're watching a movie and it's over an hour, then maybe break it down into shorter sessions. So if you have Netflix, for example, you can pause and come back to it later, and that way you don't get overwhelmed as you're studying, or you don't get tired. Okay, so watch maybe 15 minutes at a time. Watch without subtitles, or if you do need the subtitles, put them in English. Don't put them in your native language, because then what will happen is you will just read and you won't actually be listening and retaining the information. Okay? And what you can also do is watch films or series that you're familiar with. So if you have a TV show that maybe before you were watching in your native language, watch it again in English, and that way you're already familiar with the story, but this time you'll be listening in for the key vocabulary and phrases that you can learn. Okay? You can also download our app at ABBA English. This is a great way to practice your listening skills as well. You can register as a free student or become premium, and then you'll have access to all of our videos or our ABBA films. So these are short films based on real-life situations, and this is a really great way to practice your listening skills, as well as our video classes. So each unit has a short film and a video class. So this is a really good way to practice your skills and to listen to a variety of accents as well. Okay, you can also listen to our podcast. So at ABBA, we have a page on SoundCloud where you can listen to our podcast. So this is Native Speakers Explaining Grammar, okay? So you can learn grammar and improve your listening at the same time. Okay, so it's a good idea to listen 2 or 3 times a week. Just make that, as I said, part of your routine. So always include listening in part of your study routine. Okay, you can also listen to the news. You can watch the BBC or an American news program. Follow international news in English as well as your own language. So that way, again, you're already kind of familiar with the information, but you're just hearing it again in English, okay? Radio stations, you can even just turn them on as you're making your dinner or as you're doing something else, and you'll just sort of be absorbing English without even thinking about it. So this is a good thing that you can do every day as you're getting ready in the morning or as you're making breakfast, lunch, etc. Just turn on the radio in English and have that going in the background. Okay, learn with your favorite songs. So if you like to listen to music, a lot of the hit songs today are in English, so you can download the lyrics. You can find the lyrics online, and then you can either memorize them or look up the vocabulary that you don't know, and you can practice learning with your favorite songs. Okay, now let's move on to reading. How can you improve your reading skills? Okay, one easy thing you can do is change your computer or phone settings to English. So that way you're reading English every day, and it's something we use our phones every day, our computers. So it's something that you'll be forced to use, and in English you'll be familiar with the vocabulary. Read the news in English, so find a newspaper that you like online, or you could even subscribe to one. And read the news every day in English, just maybe a few articles or choose one article to read. You can read, in addition to newspapers, you can read our blog. We have many articles on our blog about grammar, culture, English for business, travel, a lot of different topics. Or you can even choose a book that you might want to read. So try to spend a few minutes every day, maybe just read one chapter of a book or one article in a magazine or a newspaper, etc. Okay, how can we improve our speaking skills? You could visit an English-speaking country. I know that's not possible for everyone right now, but maybe this is a goal that you could work toward one day, traveling to England or to the United States or to Australia, etc., and meeting some local people there and practicing your speaking skills with them. Before you travel, you could join a conversation club. So in your hometown where you live, you could find a meetup or a group of people who want to practice English, and then you meet them in a cafe or a bar, and you can just practice English conversation so you become a little bit more fluent that way. Okay, now let's talk about writing. So what can we do to improve our writing skills more quickly? Use Post-it notes to label some items in your home. So if there's something that you always are forgetting the name of in English, put a Post-it on it, and then as you walk through your house or in your office, etc., you'll have that vocabulary there every day to review. So keep it there until you know it 100%. Okay, if you are a student with ABBA and if you are a premium user, you can write to your teacher on a daily basis, a weekly basis. So whenever you have a question or if you just want to say hi and practice your writing skills, you can write to your ABBA teacher. So this is a great way to practice. And in our live streaming classes, you can post comments, and this is another way that you can practice your writing skills by writing to me or to Teacher Dell whenever we do live streaming classes. And one thing that's really important to know how to write in English is an email. So practice writing emails whenever appropriate. Maybe if you can find someone who wants to practice with you, then you can write each other emails instead of meeting up to speak. You could practice by writing emails in English. And finally, the thing that you want to remember most is that it is possible to learn English to become as fluent as possible, and you can do it. So don't be negative. Don't tell yourself learning English is difficult, because learning any language is difficult. You just have to establish a routine and really stick to it. Be be dedicated. So anyone can do it. Don't tell yourself, I'm never going to succeed. It might take longer than you expect, but if you follow these tips, you will improve a little bit more quickly, okay? Don't tell yourself, I make too many mistakes, because making mistakes is the way that you learn. So if you're embarrassed of your speaking because you think you make too many mistakes, or writing emails that there are too many errors, keep practicing, okay? Eventually, those mistakes will start to correct themselves, okay? Don't tell yourself, I need to learn the grammar first, because one thing that you can do that's so easy is just listen. Turn on the TV, turn on the radio, absorb as much English as you can, and then you can learn the grammar. So you don't have to know all of the English grammar first in order to start speaking or start participating in an English conversation. Okay? And just do it. Practice makes perfect. So the more you practice, the more you'll improve. And we at ABBA are here to support you. So please take these tips to heart, and I know that you can do it, that you'll be able to improve your English as fast as you can. So in summary, learning a language takes time and dedication, but the best thing you can do is study every day, surround yourself with English, don't be shy, don't be embarrassed, don't be afraid to communicate in English. All right, so now that we've done a bit of an overview of study tips, ways to improve more quickly, I'm going to ask you some questions, and you can write your answers in the comments. So my first question is, share your tips to learn English faster. So maybe there's something that I didn't mention, something that works for you, that you think is important to improve your English quickly. So tell me about that in the comments. Okay, my second question, do you watch television in English? What TV shows do you like to watch? Which ones do you think are the most useful for English learners? Okay, so tell me about that in the comments. And what do you find the most difficult when learning English? So I know it's not all easy, so what is most difficult for you? Is it listening? Is it speaking? Is it writing, reading? What do you find the most difficult? So tell me for you personally in the comments. Okay, as you're doing that, let me tell you a little bit more about our course. I mentioned already at ABBA we have a complete course from beginners to business level. Our course has 144 units, and each unit has a short film, so our ABBA film, a video class explaining the grammar, and exercises for you to practice. So if you sign up with us as a free student, you'll have access to all of the video classes as well as the first unit of each level. And then if you decide to go premium, you'll have access to all of the course content, and you'll be assigned a teacher like me who you can write to anytime you have a question. So again, you can practice your writing skills with your teacher. Okay, if you do study with us, we have a very flexible course in that you can study from your smartphone, your tablet, or your PC or Mac, and your progress is saved on all of those devices. Okay, in addition, we have many other resources available to you at ABBA for free to help you keep practicing, like our blog, our ABBA journal. So there you can read lots of articles about all kinds of different topics, English for business, travel. There are just tons of different topics that you can consult on our blog. On our Facebook page, we have our live streaming classes, so you can participate in those. You can write something in the comments. And we also have a Twitter page and a YouTube channel. So check out all of those resources if you haven't already. So plenty of ways for you to improve your English as quickly as possible with us here at ABBA. So we've come to the end of our class for today. I want to thank everyone who has joined us, and please keep writing your comments. I'll get back to you later today if I haven't answered your question. So thanks again, and take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye.